the small science ship drifted through space. Its name was Harmonious Dawn, and it belonged to a peaceful alien race called the Zephyra. Captain Veloth sat in his chair on the bridge. He looked worried. His crew was scared too. 3 days ago, everything had been fine. They were studying stars and collecting data. The Zephyra loved science. They never hurt anyone. Violence was something they only read about in old books. Their world was peaceful and safe. The gravity was light and the weather was always nice. Then the Krell ships came. The Krell were hunters and killers. They looked like giant insects made of crystal. Their bodies were hard as stone. They wanted to take over every planet they found. They wanted slaves and resources. The Krell did not care about peace or mercy. Veloth's ship had no weapons. It was built for studying, not fighting. When the Krell attacked, all they could do was run. But their engines were damaged. Their shields were almost gone. The Krell ship surrounded them like wolves circling wounded prey. Saria, the communications officer, spoke quietly. Her voice shook with fear. She had sent out a distress call 3 days ago. The signal went out into space asking for help. But no help came. The nearest friendly ships were too far away. The Galactic Council fleet was busy fighting wars in other places. 3 more Krell destroyers entered the star system. They were big and dangerous. Their weapons glowed with deadly energy. Veloth knew his crew would die soon. Or worse, they would become slaves. The Krell liked to capture scientists and force them to work. Veloth made a decision. He told Saria to send one last message. If they were going to die, the galaxy needed to know what happened. Someone needed to stop the Krell from hurting more innocent people. Saria started typing the final message with tears in her eyes. Suddenly, Jen looked up from his station. He was the science officer. His 3 eyes went wide with surprise. Something strange appeared on his screens. Large objects were entering the system. They were moving incredibly fast, faster than anything should move in normal space. Veloth asked what speed they were traveling. Jen checked his instruments again. He could not believe the numbers. The objects were moving at 95% of light speed. That should be impossible. Ships moving that fast would tear themselves apart. The forces would crush any crew inside. The main screen showed the new arrivals. Veloth stopped breathing for a moment. Ships appeared from the darkness. These were not like any ships in the galactic database. They looked aggressive and mean. Sharp angles covered their hulls. Weapons stuck out everywhere. Heavy armor plates covered every surface. The ships were painted dark gray. Strange symbols marked their sides. Veloth did not recognize the writing. These were not from any species he knew. The largest ship was huge. It made even the Krell destroyers look small. Dozens of other ships flew beside it. Fighters, cruisers, and support vessels formed a powerful fleet. The big ship opened a communication channel. A face appeared on the screen. Veloth pulled back in his chair. The creature looked like a predator. Its eyes faced forward, designed for hunting. Patches of dark hair covered its head. Its teeth were white and sharp. The skin was a warm brown color. It wore a dark uniform with badges on it. The creature spoke. Its voice was strong and confident. This is Commander Jake Morrison of the Earth Federation Starship Liberty. We received your distress call. Stay where you are. We will take care of this problem. Before Veloth could answer, the channel closed. The human ships accelerated again. They moved in ways that seemed to ignore physics. The ships turned and twisted at speeds that should kill everyone inside. They headed straight toward the Krell fleet. Saria looked at Veloth with confusion and hope. Who were these humans? Why did they come to help? The Zephyra had nothing to offer them. They were not allies or trade partners. These humans were complete strangers, yet they came anyway, ready to fight. Jen pulled up what little information their computer had about Earth. His hands shook as he read the data. Earth was listed as a dangerous world. The gravity was strong. The atmosphere was thick and heavy. Weather patterns included massive storms that could destroy cities. The planet had extreme temperatures, from frozen poles to burning deserts. Earthquakes shook the ground regularly. Volcanoes erupted without warning. Hurricanes with winds stronger than starship engines swept across the oceans. Predatory animals hunted other creatures for food. The entire planet was designed to kill anything living on it, yet somehow humans survived there. They evolved there. They thrived there, Veloth understood now. These humans came from a death world, a planet so dangerous that it created warriors. Every day on Earth was a battle for survival. The humans learned to fight because they had no choice. They became strong because weakness meant death. They became smart because stupidity was fatal. The Krell sent a message to the human fleet. It was a demand to surrender. The Krell thought the humans were just another weak species. They thought this would be easy. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Commander Morrison replied to the Krell. His voice was calm but dangerous. "No," he said. "You are attacking a peaceful science ship. That breaks many laws. Power down your weapons. Prepare to be arrested. Come quietly or we will make you come." The Krell did not listen. They had conquered hundreds of worlds. They had destroyed thousands of ships. They did not fear these strange newcomers. The Krell commander ordered all ships to attack. Every weapon they had opened fire at once. Plasma bolts filled the space between the fleets. Missiles streaked through the darkness. Energy beams cut through the void. It was enough firepower to destroy a small moon. The Krell expected the human ships to explode or run away. They expected screams and panic, but the humans did not run. They flew straight into the attack. Small guns on their ships shot down the missiles. Hundreds of bullets and lasers intercepted every rocket. The plasma bolts hit their armor and bounced off. The human ships were built to take damage. They were designed for war. Then the human fleet returned fire. Veloth watched in shock. Large guns on the human ships launched metal slugs at incredible speed. The slugs moved so fast they glowed white-hot. They punched through Krell shields like they were made of paper. They tore through the crystal hulls and came out the other side. Missiles launched from the human ships. Hundreds of them. They chased the Krell ships with determination. When the Krell tried to shoot them down, more missiles appeared. The humans had so many weapons. Their ships seemed to be nothing but guns and armor. Laser beams cut through space. They sliced Krell ships in half. Explosions lit up the darkness. The first Krell destroyer broke apart. Its reactor exploded in a brilliant flash. The second destroyer tried to run, but human fighters chased it. Small, fast ships that moved like hunting birds. They surrounded the destroyer and tore it apart piece by piece. The Zephyra crew watched in silence. They had studied war in theory. They had never seen it like this. The humans fought with perfect efficiency. Every shot had a purpose. Every movement was calculated. This was not random violence. This was organized destruction. The humans had practiced this for thousands of years. One Krell ship managed to hit a human cruiser. The ship shook from the impact. Holes appeared in its side. Veloth expected it to retreat and repair. Instead, the cruiser accelerated forward. It rammed straight into the Krell destroyer. Then it fired all its guns at point-blank range. Both ships came out damaged, but the Krell ship was finished. It drifted away powerless and dying. A woman's voice came over the radio. "This is Captain Lisa Grant of the Defiant. We have damage but can still fight." Continuing the attack. The humans did not give up. They did not retreat. Even when hurt, they kept fighting. 20 minutes later, it was over. The Krell fleet was destroyed. Debris floated where their ships used to be. The human fleet circled back toward the harmonious dawn. Their ships had burns and damage, but they were intact. They had won easily. Commander Morrison appeared on screen again. He smiled. Veloth would learn later that humans smiled when they were happy or friendly. "Sorry about the rough entrance," Morrison said. "We were patrolling nearby and heard your call. Is everyone okay? Do you need medical help?" Veloth found his voice. It came out weak and shaky. "We are fine, Commander. Thank you. You saved our lives. We cannot repay this debt." Morrison waved his hand. "No debt needed. Those Krell have been causing trouble for weeks. Someone needed to stop them. We have engineers and medics ready to help if you need repairs. We also have diplomats who would like to meet you properly." As small human ships flew toward them, Veloth turned to his crew. They needed to tell the Galactic Council about this immediately. The humans were unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. They were dangerous and powerful. But they had also saved innocent lives when they had no reason to. These Deathworlders might change everything. 3 days passed after the battle. Veloth and his crew stayed with the human fleet. The humans helped repair the harmonious dawn. Human engineers worked alongside Zephyra scientists. The two species were very different, but they worked together well. Veloth walked through the corridors of the Liberty. The human flagship was massive. Everything about it was built strong and heavy. The walls were thick metal. Doors were reinforced. Even the windows had extra protection. This ship was made to survive battles. He watched human crew members work. They moved with confidence and strength. In their 1.0 gravity, they walked easily. Veloth struggled in the heavy gravity. His thin legs were not built for this. A young human woman saw him struggling. She offered to help him. Her name was Amy Collins. She worked in engineering. Amy carried a toolbox that weighed 30 kilograms. She carried it like it was nothing. Veloth could barely lift 10 kilograms in this gravity. He realized humans were incredibly strong. Their muscles were dense and powerful. Their bones were thick and heavy. They were built like living tanks. Ambassador Helen Carter met with Veloth in an observation room. She was a kind woman with gray hair and warm eyes. She brought information about Earth and humanity. Veloth wanted to learn everything. His scientific mind needed to understand these strange beings who had saved his life. Helen showed him pictures of Earth. The planet was beautiful, but terrifying. Blue oceans covered most of the surface. Green and brown continents held billions of humans. White clouds swirled in patterns. But Veloth saw the danger too. Massive storms bigger than his entire homeworld. Mountain ranges that reached into space. Deserts that killed anything without water. How many wars has your species fought? Veloth asked quietly. He was almost afraid to hear the answer. Helen thought for a moment. Thousands, she said. Maybe tens of thousands if you count every battle and conflict. For most of our history, different human groups fought each other for land, resources, and beliefs. Veloth felt dizzy. His people had one war in their entire history. It lasted only a few months. Both sides talked and made peace quickly. Violence was rare and shocking to the Zephyra. But humans had thousands of wars. War was normal to them. It was part of their history and culture. Helen continued. We did not unite as one species until we reached space. When we discovered we were not alone in the universe, we realized our fights were pointless. We had bigger things to worry about. So we came together. We formed the Earth Federation. Now we explore space as one people. But you still remember how to fight, Veloth said. Helen nodded. Yes, we hope we never need to fight again. But we know how. We keep our military strong because the universe can be dangerous. We learned that lesson many times on Earth. Peace is wonderful, but you must be ready to defend it. Veloth asked about Earth itself. Helen smiled and pulled up more data. Our world has 1.0 standard gravity, she explained. Most species find it too strong. The atmospheric pressure at sea level is heavy. The oxygen content is high. We have weather that ranges from -40 degrees to +50 degrees Celsius. We have earthquakes that shake cities, volcanoes that bury towns in lava, hurricanes with winds over 300 kilometers per hour, tornadoes that can destroy anything in their path, tsunamis that wash away coastlines. Our planet tries to kill us regularly, but we survive, we adapt. We overcome. Veloth struggled to imagine it. His homeworld was gentle and calm. The weather was always comfortable. No earthquakes or volcanoes, no deadly storms. The most dangerous animal was a small creature that ate plants. The Zephyra never had to fight for survival. They never had to adapt to danger. They just lived peacefully. That explains so much, Veloth said quietly. Your ships are built like fortresses because you expect damage. Your weapons are powerful because you know what war means. Your people are strong because your world made them strong. You are warriors because you had to be. Helen nodded. Yes, but we are also more than warriors. We are artists and scientists. We are teachers and healers. We write poetry and create music. We fall in love and raise families. War is part of us, but it does not define us. We choose what we do with our strength. Why did you help us? Veloth asked. That question had been bothering him for days. We are strangers. We have nothing to offer you. We are not your allies, yet you risked your lives and ships to save us. Why? Helen looked surprised by the question. Because you needed help. Because the Krell were hurting innocent people. Because standing by while others suffer is wrong. On Earth we have a saying. All that is necessary for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. We refuse to do nothing. She continued speaking. Throughout our history, our greatest heroes were those who protected the weak. Those who stood against bullies and tyrants. Those who sacrifice themselves for others. Yes, we are dangerous. Yes, we can be violent, but we use that violence to protect, not to conquer. That is the choice we made. Veloth felt his understanding shift. Humans were not simple creatures. They were complex and contradictory. They could be brutal killers and gentle helpers. They could destroy fleets and save lives. They were shaped by a harsh world, but they chose to be kind. That choice was what made them special. Later that day, Commander Morrison invited the Zephyra crew to dinner. The human mess hall was loud and busy. Crew members talked and laughed. They ate food and told stories. The Zephyra sat at a table with human officers. Everyone tried food from both cultures. The human food was very spicy. It burned Veloth's tongue, but he tried not to show it. A human officer named Greg Sanders noticed. He laughed and brought Veloth some water. "Sorry about that. We like strong flavors. Try this instead. It is milder." He offered a different dish that was sweet and gentle. Saria tried human music. It was loud and energetic. The beats were strong and fast. She liked it. The humans taught her how to dance. She moved awkwardly in the heavy gravity, but everyone cheered her on. No one made fun of her. They encouraged her and helped her. Jen talked with human scientists. They shared information about stars and planets. The humans knew different things than the Zephyra. Together they understood more than apart. Jen was excited. "Imagine what we could discover if we worked together," he said. The humans agreed enthusiastically. Captain Lisa Grant joined them. She had commanded the Defiant during the battle. Her ship was damaged but not destroyed. She wore bandages on her arm, but she smiled and joked with her crew. Veloth asked if she was afraid during the battle. Lisa thought about it. "Yes," she said honestly. "Fear is normal. It keeps you alert. But I trust my crew and my ship. We train for situations like that. We know what to do. Fear is okay as long as you do not let it stop you from doing what is right." Morrison came over with drinks. He handed one to Veloth. "This is called coffee. It is bitter but gives you energy. Humans drink it every morning. Try it." Veloth took a sip. It was strong and bitter. But there was something good about it too. It made him feel more awake. The conversation turned to the future. Morrison asked about the Galactic Council. Veloth explained that it was a group of peaceful species working together. They handled trade and disputes. They tried to keep peace, but they had little military power. They relied on diplomacy and hope. "That does not sound effective against species like the Krell," Morrison said. Veloth agreed. "The Council means well, but they struggle with aggressive species. The Krell have been a problem for years. They attack trade ships and raid colonies. The Council tries to negotiate, but the Krell do not care about talking." "Maybe we can help with that," Lisa said. "We have experience dealing with bullies. The trick is to show strength while offering friendship. Be ready to fight, but prefer to talk. The Krell need to understand that their actions have consequences." Veloth felt hope growing in his chest. If humans joined the Galactic Council, things would change. The peaceful species would have protectors. The aggressive species would think twice before attacking. Balance would return to the galaxy. But first, the Council needed to accept humans. That might be difficult. Some Council members will fear you, Veloth admitted. "You are very powerful. You come from a death world. Your military is strong. Some species will think you are dangerous. They will worry you might become like the Krell, conquering instead of cooperating." Morrison nodded seriously. "We understand. Trust must be earned. We are willing to prove ourselves. We can start with small things. Help protect trade routes. Share technology. Show that we are friends, not threats. Give the Council time to know us. Let our actions speak louder than our weapons." Helen spoke up. "We have dealt with fear before. When different human nations first met, they were afraid of each other too. We looked different, spoke different languages, had different beliefs, but we learned to work together. We found common ground. If humans can unite despite our differences, surely the galaxy can too." The evening continued with more talking and sharing. Veloth watched humans interact with his crew. There was genuine warmth and interest. The humans asked questions about Zephyra culture. They wanted to learn. They respected differences. They treated the Zephyra as equals, not as weak beings to be protected. Before going to sleep, Veloth recorded his thoughts. "These humans are remarkable," he said into his personal log. "They are warriors from a harsh world, yes, but they are also kind and curious. They value life and freedom." The grand chamber of the Galactic Council was beautiful. It was a huge dome made of crystal. Light from many stars shined through it. The chamber held representatives from over 300 different species. Each species had their own special area designed for their needs. Some needed water. Some needed different air. Some needed special temperatures. Captain Veloth stood at the center speaking platform. He was nervous. This was the most important moment of his life. He was about to tell the Council about humanity. Around him, hundreds of aliens watched and waited. They represented the most powerful civilizations in the galaxy. High Counselor Miren called for silence. She was a Feluvian, a species that had led the Council for 200 years. Her species was wise and fair. She spoke through a translation device so everyone could understand. Captain Veloth, you have requested this emergency session. You have made first contact with a new species. Please tell us what you found. Veloth activated the holographic display. The chamber watched footage from the battle. They saw the Krell ships attacking the Harmonious Dawn. They saw the human fleet arrive. They watched as humans destroyed the Krell in less than 20 minutes. The room was completely silent. When the video ended, the chamber exploded with noise. Everyone started talking at once. Some representatives looked scared. Others looked angry. A few looked impressed. High Counselor Miren called for order. Let us discuss this calmly, she said. Representative Kex of the Draylon hierarchy spoke first. His voice was loud and upset. This is barbaric. These humans solved a problem with overwhelming violence. They did not try to negotiate. They did not seek a peaceful solution. They simply destroyed their enemies. This is not how civilized beings behave, Veloth responded carefully. With respect, Representative Kex, the Krell were actively destroying my ship. They had already refused all communication. They wanted to kill or enslave us. The humans did not have time for lengthy negotiations. They saved innocent lives. They stopped an immediate threat. Another voice spoke. This was Representative Torn of the Methane Collective. His species lived in different environments than most. Your report says these humans come from a Class 12 death world. Such species are extremely dangerous. History shows they often become violent and expansionist. We should be very careful. Saria, standing beside Veloth, asked to speak. I have studied the historical records. There have been only 4 other Deathworld species in our database. 2 destroyed themselves before they reached space. 1 became isolationist and refused all contact. The 4th became the Krell. Worried sounds spread through the chamber. If humans were like the Krell, the galaxy was in serious danger. The Krell had conquered dozens of worlds. They had enslaved billions of beings. They showed no mercy and no compassion. Were humans the same? But Saria continued. However, there are important differences. The Krell are a hive mind. They think as one. They see other species only as resources to use. Humans are different. Each human is an individual. They value personal freedom and rights. They have many different cultures within their own species. They celebrate diversity. She pulled up more information. Humans have concepts like justice and compassion. They have laws against hurting the innocent. They have philosophies about protecting those who cannot protect themselves. Yes, they can be violent, but they choose to use that violence only against those who harm others. Representative Quen of the Avarian Confederation leaned forward. His species was known for strategic thinking. You spent several days with these humans. What is your honest opinion of their intentions? Do you think they want peace or conquest? Veloth took a moment to think. He wanted to give an honest answer. I believe humans genuinely want peace. They are warriors, yes. They are capable of terrible violence, but they are also explorers and scientists. They are curious about the universe. They want to learn and share knowledge. They want friends, not subjects. He showed cultural data from Earth. Look at their stories and art. Yes, they have tales of war and battle, but they also have stories of love, friendship, and sacrifice. Their heroes are those who save others and stand against evil. Their villains are those who hurt the innocent. This tells us what they value. Jen added information. I studied human biology and psychology. They form strong emotional bonds. They care about family and community. They feel empathy for those who suffer. Yes, their world made them tough, but it also taught them to work together and help each other. Survival on Earth required cooperation. High Counselor Miren asked the important question. What do humans want from us? What are they asking for? Veloth answered. They want trade and cultural exchange. They want to share scientific knowledge. They want to join the galactic community as partners. They are not demanding anything. They are offering friendship, he paused. And they are offering protection. The Krell have threatened our outer settlements for years. Since humans started patrolling the region, piracy has dropped 80%. This information made many representatives think the Krell problem had been growing worse. The Council fleet could not be everywhere. Many peaceful species had suffered attacks. If humans could help stop the Krell, that was valuable. Representative Yola of the Gentle Ones spoke next. Her species was completely peaceful. They had no military and no weapons. Her voice was soft, but everyone listened. My people cannot defend themselves. We rely on the Council fleet for protection, but the fleet cannot be everywhere at once. We have lost colonies to pirate attacks, she continued. If these humans are truly willing to protect those who cannot protect themselves, if they do this from principle and not for conquest, then perhaps we should welcome them. Perhaps we need them. The galaxy has many aggressive species. We peaceful ones need allies who can fight. More representatives started talking. Some supported contact with humans. Others wanted to be cautious. The debate went on for hours. Veloth answered hundreds of questions. He showed videos of humans being kind and helpful. He shared data about human culture and values. He tried to paint a complete picture. Representative Kex remained opposed. How do we know this is not a trick? How do we know humans will not turn on us once they gain our trust? Deathworlders are unpredictable. We should keep them at a distance. We should observe them for many years before allowing them into the Council. But Representative Quen disagreed. Keeping them at a distance might make them enemies. If we reject them, they may feel insulted. They may decide we are ungrateful. Better to bring them into the Council where we can work with them. Better to make them friends than to make them feel unwanted. Another representative spoke up. This was Elder Finn of the Botanical Collective. His species were plant-based and very old. We must remember that being different does not mean being evil. Humans evolved in harsh conditions. That makes them strong, not cruel. Strength can be used for good or evil. The choice matters more than the capability. He gestured to the hologram. These humans traveled across space to answer a distress call from strangers. They risked their lives in ships for people they did not know. They expected no reward. That action speaks louder than their weapons. That tells us their character. High Counselor Myron raised her hand for silence. We have heard many opinions. Now we must vote. The question is simple. Should we establish formal diplomatic relations with humanity? Should we recognize them as a sovereign species and offer them a seat on this council? The voting began. Each species cast their vote. The results appeared on a large display. The vote was not unanimous. About 30% voted against, but the majority voted yes. Humans would be welcomed into the Galactic Council. They would have full representation and rights. Veloth felt relief wash over him. He had done it. He had convinced the Council to accept humanity. The galaxy would change now. For better or worse, humans were now part of the galactic community. History would remember this day. As representatives left the chamber, many approached Veloth. Some congratulated him. Others expressed concerns. A few wanted to know more about humans. Veloth answered patiently. He understood their worries. Humans were unusual and powerful. It made sense to be cautious. Representative Yola approached him with her aid. Thank you, Captain Veloth. My people have been afraid for so long. Perhaps now we can feel safe again. She seemed genuinely grateful. Veloth bowed respectfully. I hope humans prove worthy of your trust. Even Representative Kex spoke with him, though he still looked unhappy. I hope you are right about these humans, he said. For all our sakes, I hope they are as honorable as you believe. Time will tell. Veloth agreed. Yes, time would tell, but he was confident in his choice. Outside the chamber, Jen walked with Veloth. Do you think we made the right decision, he asked. Veloth nodded firmly. I do. The humans are here now, whether we accept them or not. Better to have them as friends and allies. Better to work with them than against them. The galaxy needs protectors. The humans can be those protectors. Saria joined them. She looked excited. I just received a message from Ambassador Carter. The human delegation is already preparing to come to the council. They want to meet everyone formally. They are bringing gifts and knowledge to share. They seem genuinely happy about this. Veloth smiled. Good. Let them come. Let the galaxy see what I saw. Not just their power, but their kindness. Not just their weapons, but their hearts. 6 months passed since the council vote. The formal ceremony was finally ready. The massive station called Unity Prime had been expanded to host the event. Unity Prime was the largest space station in the galaxy. It could house representatives from every member species. Now it had special areas built for humans too. Captain Veloth stood in the observation gallery. He watched the human fleet arrive. This time the fleet was smaller. Only 12 ships came, but each ship carried important meaning. The flagship was called the Endeavor. It was huge and beautiful. It served as both a warship and a diplomatic vessel, a moving embassy. Around the Endeavor flew escort ships. They had names like Hope, Courage, and Unity. The humans understood symbolism. They knew names mattered. These were not aggressive names like Destroyer or Conqueror. These were names that spoke of values and ideals. The message was clear. Humans came in peace. Ambassador Helen Carter led the human delegation. Commander Jake Morrison and Captain Lisa Grant walked beside her. They wore formal uniforms that were both ceremonial and practical. The uniforms were dark blue with gold decorations. Each human wore their rank and medals proudly. As they entered the Grand Chamber, Veloth noticed something interesting. Many council members who had opposed human membership were watching with respect instead of fear. 6 months of human patrols had changed minds. Trade routes were safer. Pirate attacks had almost stopped. The Krell stayed in their own space now. Actions spoke louder than words. High Counselor Mirren began the ceremony. Her voice was formal but warm. Ambassador Carter, on behalf of the Galactic Council, we welcome humanity into our community of civilizations. We acknowledge your sovereignty, your rights, and your responsibilities as a member species. Do you accept the Charter of Cooperation? Helen stepped forward. Her voice was clear and strong. We do. Earth and all her colonies commit to working with all council members. We will promote peace, prosperity, and mutual understanding. We offer our strength to defend the innocent. We offer our knowledge to advance progress. We offer our friendship to all who will accept it. The formal part of the ceremony continued with the exchange of gifts. This was an important tradition. Each new member species gave something valuable. The humans presented medical technology that could cure diseases common in many species. They shared engineering designs for more efficient engines. They brought cultural artifacts from Earth, music, art, and literature from hundreds of human cultures. In return, the Council provided access to scientific databases. These contained knowledge from 300 civilizations, information about stars, planets, and phenomena that humans had never seen. The Council also established trade agreements. Human colonies could now buy and sell with thousands of alien worlds. After the ceremony, there was a large reception. Representatives from many species came to meet the humans. Some were curious, some were cautious. All were polite. Veloth found himself in a group with Morrison, Grant, and several other representatives. They discussed important matters. The conversation turned to the Krell situation. Representative Quinn asked about their current status. Morrison pulled up a tactical hologram. The Krell have retreated to their core systems. They are regrouping and thinking. For the first time ever, they met a species that hit back harder than they did. It confused them. Their hive mind is struggling to process it. Quinn studied the hologram carefully. But what happens when they adapt? The Krell are good at learning. They will study your tactics. They will change their approach. They will come back stronger. That is how they have always operated. They lose a battle, they learn, they return. Captain Grant smiled confidently. Then we adapt faster. That is what humans do best. We improvise. We innovate. We change our tactics constantly. But more importantly, we do not face the Krell alone anymore. We have allies now. She looked around the group. If you share your knowledge of Krell biology and tactics, we can develop joint strategies. Your science plus our combat experience equals victory. Representative Yola joined the conversation. Her species had suffered many Krell attacks. My people would be honored to help. We have detailed records of Krell behavior patterns. We have studied them for years, trying to understand them. Perhaps now that information can be used to stop them instead of just avoiding them. Morrison nodded appreciatively. That would be invaluable. We are setting up a joint military academy. Officers from different species can train together, learn from each other, develop combined tactics. The Krell think as one mind, but we can think as many minds working together. That gives us an advantage. The conversation expanded to other topics. Cultural exchange programs were discussed. Scientific cooperation projects were planned. Trade routes were negotiated. Veloth watched as humans and aliens found common ground. They discovered shared interests and goals. Bonds were forming. Trust was growing. It was not perfect. There were misunderstandings. Some jokes did not translate well. Some customs confused people, but everyone tried. Everyone made an effort. That was what mattered. The willingness to work through difficulties. The commitment to understanding each other. Later in the evening, Veloth found himself alone with Helen on an observation deck. They looked out at the docking bays. The human fleet hung in space, their lights creating beautiful patterns. Earth was far away, but humans had brought their spirit with them. Their determination, their optimism, Helen spoke quietly. Thank you, Captain Veloth, for believing in us, for giving humanity a chance. Many species would have rejected us out of fear. You saw past our weapons and our strength. You saw our character. That took wisdom and courage. Veloth felt humble. You saved my life. You saved my crew. That showed me what you truly are. Not monsters from a death world, but people with principles. People who help others. That is why I fought for this alliance. The galaxy needs more kindness, not more fear. Helen admitted her concerns. We will make mistakes. We are still learning how to be part of something bigger than ourselves. Our history is full of conflicts and failures. We have done terrible things to each other. But we have also learned and grown. We keep trying to be better. That is all anyone can do. All species make mistakes, Veloth said gently. The question is whether you learn from them, whether you choose to grow or stay the same. I believe humanity will choose growth. I have seen your curiosity and your desire to improve. Those qualities will serve you well in the galaxy. They stood quietly for a while, just watching ships come and go. Vessels from dozens of species move through the docking area. Traders and explorers, scientists and diplomats, all part of the great community of civilizations. Now humans were part of that community too. Their strength added to everyone else. Their knowledge shared with all. Helen's communicator chimed. She read the message and smiled. The first joint human-Zephyra scientific expedition has been approved. They will survey nebulae in the Carina region. Your people's expertise with stellar phenomena combined with our advanced sensors should produce amazing results. Veloth felt genuine excitement. This is just the beginning. Many collaborations will follow. Humans working with Zephyra, Avarians working with Feluvians, all of us learning from each other, all of us growing stronger together. This is what the council was meant to be. More messages arrived. A botanical collective representative wanted to discuss agricultural technology. The methane collective asked about human mining techniques. The gentle ones requested security consultations. Everyone wanted to work with humans. Everyone saw the value they brought. As they prepared to return to the reception, Veloth took one last look at the human fleet. Those ships represented something unprecedented. They were proof that strength and kindness could coexist, that warriors could choose to be protectors, that the most dangerous beings could also be the most noble. Back at the reception, Commander Morrison was telling stories about Earth. Aliens listened with fascination. He described oceans and mountains. He talked about different human cultures and their unique traditions. He showed pictures of Earth's wildlife. Some aliens were amazed. Others were horrified. All were interested. Captain Grant demonstrated human music. She played different styles. Classical music with orchestras. Rock music with electric guitars. Jazz with complex rhythms. Some aliens loved it. Others found it too loud. But everyone appreciated the artistry. Music was universal, even when the styles were different. Young human crew members mingled with young aliens. They exchanged contact information. They made plans to visit each other's worlds. Friendships were forming that would last lifetimes. This was the real success of the ceremony. Not the formal speeches, but these personal connections. Representative Kex approached Helen. He was the one who had opposed human membership most strongly. He still looked uncomfortable, but he was trying. I want to apologize for my harsh words during the council debate. You have proven yourselves honorable. Your actions speak well of your species. Helen accepted graciously. No apology needed. Caution is wise when meeting a new species, especially one like us. We understand. We hope to earn your trust through our actions, not just our words. She extended her hand in the human gesture of friendship. Keck studied it for a moment, then carefully took her hand. It was a small gesture, but it meant everything. As the evening ended, High Counselor Myron gave a final speech. Today, 1 year after humanity joined the Galactic Council, the changes were clear. Trade between human colonies and alien worlds grew every day. Joint research stations orbited distant stars. Mixed crews explored unknown regions of space. The galaxy was more connected than ever before. Captain Veloth commanded a new ship now. The Unity was built by both Zephyra and human engineers. It combined the best of both technologies. Zephyra sensors that could detect phenomena light years away. Human engines that could travel faster and more efficiently. Human weapons for protection. Zephyra science labs for research. His crew was mixed too. Half Zephyra, half human. They worked together perfectly. The humans taught the Zephyra about engineering and combat tactics. The Zephyra taught the humans about stellar physics and advanced mathematics. Everyone learned. Everyone benefited. On this day, they were responding to a distress call. A colony on the edge of known space had been attacked. The colony belonged to the Gentle Ones, the peaceful species that had no military. Pirates had landed and were taking supplies and prisoners. The colony had no way to defend itself. The Unity arrived quickly. Veloth could see 3 pirate ships on his sensors. They were old military vessels from various species. Pirates always used whatever ships they could steal or buy. These ones looked dangerous, heavily armed and aggressive in design. Lieutenant Ben Cooper, the human tactical officer, studied the enemy ships. 3 light cruisers, older models but still dangerous. They have about 200 pirates total. The colony has no defenses. We need to act fast before they take more hostages. Veloth made his decision quickly. This was different from his old command. The Harmonious Dawn had no weapons and could only run. The Unity was built for moments like this. "Open a channel to the pirates," he ordered. "Let us try talking first." The pirate leader appeared on screen. He was a Draylon, a species known for being aggressive. His face showed contempt. "What do you want? This colony is ours now. Leave or we will destroy you. We outnumber you 3 to 1. Veloth kept his voice calm. "This is Captain Veloth of the Council ship Unity. You are attacking a peaceful colony. Release your prisoners and leave immediately. This is your only warning. If you do not comply, we will use force," the pirate laughed. 1 ship against 3? You are either brave or stupid. Probably stupid. He cut the connection. The pirate ships turned to face the Unity. Their weapons powered up. They were preparing to attack. Ben looked at Veloth. "Your call, Captain." "Do we engage?" Veloth nodded. "We cannot let them hurt more innocents. All weapons free. Target their engines first. Try to disable them without killing anyone. But defend this ship and that colony with everything we have." The battle began. The pirate ships fired first. Plasma bolts and missiles streaked toward the Unity. But Ben had been trained by some of the best human officers. He activated the point defense systems. Thousands of small guns shot down the missiles. The plasma bolts hit the shields and dissipated harmlessly. The Unity returned fire. Precision railgun shots hit the engines of the first pirate ship. The ship stopped moving, dead in space. Its weapons still worked, but it could not chase or escape. The second ship tried to run. The Unity was faster. More precise shots disabled its engines too. The third pirate ship got smart. It moved close to the colony, using the buildings as cover. If the Unity shot at it, they might hit civilians. Veloth cursed quietly. "They are holding the colony hostage. We cannot risk hitting innocent people. We need another approach." Ensign Maya Ross, a human pilot, had an idea. "Captain, I can take a shuttle down to the surface, land behind their position. My squad can disable their ground forces while you keep their ship busy. Once the pirates on the ground are neutralized, their ship will have to choose between fighting or fleeing." Veloth considered it. That would be dangerous. The pirates would shoot at the shuttle. But Maya smiled confidently. "I learned to fly in Earth's atmosphere. Dodging fire in space is easy compared to dodging hurricanes." "We can do this, sir. Trust us." Veloth nodded. "Go, be careful." Maya and her squad ran to the shuttle bay. They consisted of 3 humans and 2 Zephyra, who had trained with human marines. They wore light armor and carried non-lethal weapons. The goal was to capture, not kill. The shuttle launched from the Unity. It flew in a crazy pattern, dodging enemy fire. Maya's flying skills were incredible. She twisted and turned the shuttle like it was dancing. The pirates could not hit her. Within minutes, the shuttle landed behind the colony buildings. Maya's squad moved quickly and quietly. They had trained for urban operations. The pirates were focused on the Unity in orbit. They did not expect an attack from behind. The humans moved like shadows, fast and silent. The Zephyra used their advanced sensors to locate every pirate. One by one, the pirates fell. Stun weapons knocked them unconscious without permanent harm. The squad worked perfectly together. Within 20 minutes, all ground forces were captured. The colony was secure. Maya contacted the Unity. Ground forces neutralized. Colony is safe. The pirate ship in orbit realized what happened. They tried to flee. Ben targeted their engines with surgical precision. The ship went dark, drifting helplessly. All 3 pirate vessels were disabled. No one had died. The mission was a complete success. Veloth led a team down to the colony. The Gentle Ones were grateful and amazed. They had never seen such efficiency, such precise action. The humans had shown the perfect balance of force and restraint. Strong enough to win, but gentle enough to minimize harm. The colony leader, a kind being named Tyler, thanked Veloth personally. "You saved us. Again, your species and humanity have saved the innocent. We are eternally grateful. How can we repay you?" Veloth smiled. "No payment needed. We are all members of the council. We protect each other. That is what community means. But if you want to help, consider training some of your people in basic defense, not to become warriors, but to protect yourselves until help arrives. Maya can teach you." Maya spent 3 days with the Gentle Ones. She taught them basic security measures, how to detect threats early, how to hide and protect civilians, how to call for help effectively. The Gentle Ones would never be warriors, but they could learn to be survivors. On the journey back to Council Space, Veloth reflected on how much had changed. A year ago, he commanded a helpless science ship. Now he commanded a powerful vessel with a mixed crew. A year ago, he could only run from danger. Now he could face it and protect others. Humans had taught the galaxy something important. Strength was not just about weapons and ships. Real strength came from using power wisely, from choosing to protect instead of dominate, from being strong enough to be gentle. Ben came to Veloth's office with a report. The captured pirates will face trial at the council courts. They will be punished but treated fairly. No torture, no execution, just justice according to council law. That is another thing we learned from humans. Mercy for the defeated. Saria, now the first officer, added her thoughts. Piracy is down 90% across the galaxy. The Krell have not attacked anyone in 8 months. Other aggressive species are becoming more cautious. They see what happens when they prey on the weak. The council has teeth now, Veloth nodded, but we must be careful. Power can corrupt. We must never become bullies ourselves. We must always remember why we have this strength. To protect, not to conquer. To serve, not to rule. Humans taught us that lesson. We must never forget it. News of the rescue spread quickly through the galaxy. More species requested human training programs. More joint operations were planned. The council was becoming more unified and effective. Working together made everyone stronger and safer. Ambassador Carter visited the Unity during a stop at a council station. She toured the ship and met the crew. She was impressed by how well Zafara and humans worked together. "This is what we hoped for," she told Veloth. "Not just cooperation, but true partnership, true friendship." They discussed the future over dinner. More species were asking to join mixed crews. The Joint Military Academy was training hundreds of officers. Scientific collaborations were making breakthrough discoveries. Cultural exchanges were creating understanding. The galaxy was truly uniting, but challenges remained. Some species still distrusted humans. The Krell were quiet but not gone. New threats might emerge from unexplored space. The galaxy was big and full of unknowns. There would always be work to do. Always people to protect. Always peace to maintain. Helen asked Veloth a question. "Do you regret sending that distress call? Do you ever wish you had never met us? That you had stayed with your peaceful, simple life?" Veloth laughed. "Never. Meeting humans changed my life for the better. Yes, I learned about darkness and danger I never imagined. But I also learned about courage and hope. I learned that being peaceful does not mean being helpless. I learned that different species can work together and become stronger." He continued. "Most importantly, I learned that the galaxy is full of good people. People who will help strangers. People who risk their lives for others. People who choose to use their strength for protection. Humans showed us that. You answered our call when you had no reason to. That changed everything." Helen smiled warmly. "We would do it again. 1,000 times over. Because that is who we are. Warriors from a death world, yes, but warriors with hearts. Warriors with principles. Warriors who serve something bigger than themselves." 5 years had passed since humanity joined the Galactic Council. The changes were enormous and permanent. The galaxy was no longer the same place it had been. Trade flourished. Science advanced rapidly. Peace was maintained through strength and cooperation. The Deathworlders had kept their promise. Captain Veloth was now an admiral. He commanded a fleet of 12 ships, Each ship had a mixed crew from different species. His flagship was still the Unity, but it had been upgraded many times. Faster engines, better weapons, more advanced sensors. The best of galactic technology combined into one vessel. Today was special. The Galactic Council was holding a ceremony to honor those who had helped bring humanity into the community. Veloth, Zarya, and Jen would receive the Star of Unity, the highest civilian honor, but more importantly, they were announcing something bigger, something that would change the galaxy again. The grand chamber was packed. Every seat was filled. Representatives from over 400 species attended. The council had grown. More species joined after seeing the benefits of membership, the protection offered by the combined fleet, the knowledge shared through joint research, the prosperity from open trade. High Counselor Myron, now very old but still wise, stood at the center platform. Beside her stood Ambassador Helen Carter, who had recently been elected to the council leadership. Together they represented the partnership between old and new members, between traditional wisdom and fresh perspectives. Myron spoke first. 5 years ago, we made a decision that many feared. We welcomed humanity into our council. Some said they were too dangerous, too aggressive, too different. But Captain Veloth believed in them. He saw past their strength to their character. Today we honor his wisdom and courage. Veloth, Zarya, and Jen walked to the platform. They received their medals. The chamber erupted in applause. But Veloth knew this was just the beginning of the ceremony. Something bigger was coming. He could feel it. Helen stepped forward. She held a data pad with important information. In the past 5 years, humanity has proven itself. We have protected the weak. We have shared our knowledge. We have fought beside our allies and defended their homes as if they were our own. We have earned your trust through actions, not words, she continued. But the galaxy faces new challenges. Unknown regions of space hold new threats. We have detected signals from species we have never met. Some may be friendly. Others may be hostile. We need to be ready. We need to be united. We need to be strong. Therefore, the Council proposes a new initiative, the Galactic Defense Force, a permanent military organization combining the best of all species, not to conquer or threaten but to protect and defend, a force that serves the entire Council, not individual nations, a force built on cooperation and shared values. The chamber buzzed with discussion. This was unprecedented. The Council had always relied on individual species maintaining their own defenses. A combined force would change everything. It would require unprecedented trust and cooperation, but it would also make them far stronger. Representative Quen spoke. The Avarian Confederation supports this proposal. We have seen the benefits of mixed crews. The Unity and ships like it have proven that different species can fight together effectively. A galactic defense force would extend those benefits across the entire Council. Representative Yola added her voice. The Gentle Ones also support this. We have no military tradition, but we trust our allies. We trust humans to use their strength wisely. We trust the Avarians and Zephyra and all the others. Together we can protect everyone, even those of us who cannot fight. One by one, representatives voiced their support. The vote was nearly unanimous. Only a few species abstained, wanting more time to consider. But the decision was clear. The Galactic Defense Force would be created, and Admiral Veloth would command it. Veloth was shocked. He had not expected this. Me? Command the entire defense force? I am just a scientist. I never wanted to be a military leader. Surely someone with more experience should lead. Helen smiled. That is exactly why you should lead. You are not a warrior by nature. You understand peace and its value. You will never use force unless absolutely necessary. But you have learned when force is necessary. You have the wisdom to know the difference. That makes you perfect for this role. Commander Morrison, now a general, agreed. Plus, you have the respect of every species. Humans trust you. So do the Zephyra and Avarians and everyone else. You bring us together. That is the most important quality for this position. Unity requires a unifying leader. Veloth accepted the position with humility. He would do his best. He would honor the trust placed in him. He would build a defense force that protected without threatening, that served without dominating. That represented the best of all species. The ceremony ended with a celebration. But Veloth's work was just beginning. Over the next months, he traveled across the galaxy. He visited every member species. He learned about their capabilities and needs. He listened to their concerns and ideas. He built relationships and trust. The defense force grew quickly. Ships from different species formed combined fleets. Training programs taught everyone to work together. Communication protocols were standardized. Supply lines were coordinated. It was complex and difficult. But it worked. Captain Grant became Admiral Grant, commanding the Second Fleet. She specialized in rapid response. Her ships could reach any crisis within hours. Commander Morrison led the training academy, teaching new generations of officers. Ben Cooper designed new tactical doctrines. Maya Ross commanded elite strike teams. Saria became chief of intelligence. Her job was to gather information about potential threats. The Zephyra sensors could detect problems before they became crises. Early warning allowed the defense force to prevent conflicts instead of just fighting them. Prevention was always better than war. Jen led the science division. His researchers studied everything from new weapon systems to better medicine. But they also researched peaceful applications, ways to terraform dead worlds, ways to cure diseases, ways to improve life for everyone. Science served all purposes, not just military ones. The Krell finally made contact after 5 years of silence. Their hive mind had been reorganizing, learning, changing. They sent an ambassador to the council. It was unprecedented. The Krell had never talked before. They only fought. The Krell ambassador was strange and unsettling. But it spoke clearly. The hive mind has concluded that expansion through conquest is inefficient. We encountered humans and lost. We analyzed our defeat. We realized we were wrong. There are better ways to survive and grow. We wish to join the council. The chamber erupted in shocked discussion. The Krell wanting to join? The species that had terrorized the galaxy for decades? It seemed impossible. Many representatives were angry. Many were skeptical. How could they trust beings who had caused so much pain? But Veloth remembered something. He remembered how scared the council had been of humans, how many had wanted to reject them, how that fear almost prevented a great alliance. He spoke carefully. The Krell have committed terrible crimes. That cannot be forgotten or forgiven easily. But if they genuinely want to change, should we deny them that chance? Helen supported him. We can offer them provisional membership. They must prove themselves through actions just as humans did. They must make reparations to their victims. They must accept monitoring and restrictions. But yes, we should give them a chance. Because everyone deserves a chance to be better. The debate lasted days. Eventually, a compromise was reached. The Krell would be accepted as provisional members. They would have limited rights until they proved themselves trustworthy. They would pay reparations. They would accept Defense Force monitoring. But they would have a path to full membership if they earned it. It was a controversial decision. Some species were unhappy. They remembered Krell attacks and lost loved ones. Veloth understood their pain. But he also understood that holding on to hate prevented healing. Giving the Krell a chance did not mean forgetting their crimes. It meant believing in the possibility of redemption. Years continued to pass. The Krell proved themselves slowly but surely. They helped rebuild worlds they had damaged. They shared their technology freely. Their hive mind adapted to peaceful cooperation. It was not easy. Many still distrusted them. But progress was made. The galaxy grew more peaceful and prosperous. New species were discovered and welcomed. The Galactic Defense Force protected everyone, preventing conflicts before they started. Trade made everyone richer. Science made everyone healthier. Culture was shared and celebrated. Veloth stood on the bridge of the Unity, now his flagship as Supreme Commander. He looked at the view screen showing thousands of ships. Every species was represented. Every culture had contributed. This massive fleet existed to protect, not to conquer. To serve, not to dominate. He thought back to that day when his ship was dying. When the Krell were about to destroy everything. When he sent out a desperate distress call not knowing who would answer. He remembered seeing the human fleet arrive. Seeing their massive warships and deadly weapons. Being terrified of what they might do. But the Deathworlders chose kindness over cruelty. They chose to protect instead of exploit. They chose to be guardians instead of conquerors. And that choice changed everything. It changed Veloth. It changed the Zephyra. It changed the entire galaxy.